Former TV star Joanna Duggar has shared a shocking event that happened to her family in a recent YouTube video. Each week, the former Counting on star shares updates on her life, husband Austin Forsyth, 30, and her 3 children Gideon, 6, Evelyn, 3, and Gunnar, 1. On Friday's video, Joanna, 26, started the video by explaining that she was taking her children to a youth camp to help out. She explained that it was a highlight of her kids' year. The first half of the vlog showed off the 3 tiny tots doing fun summer activities including jumping on a trampoline, driving and washing an ATV, and swimming in a lake. In the next clip, Joanna discussed taking her youngest child to the hospital. The former TV personality welcomed Gunnar on May 17, 2023. Joanna's pain. Before explaining what happened, Joanna admitted that she was contemplating sharing the story, but confirmed that her family was safe. She began the story by explaining that she was feeding Gunnar part of her dinner when the accident happened. Joanna allowed Gunnar to bite and chew on a piece of ham, but accidentally took too much and began to choke. I was so tired physically that emotionally I was just done. I was crying at this point and I was hitting him on the back, she explained. She went on to say that if she is ever in a stressful situation she knows exactly what to do, but when she is with Austin she admitted that she doesn't have to be as strong. Austin is an EMT and is trained for medical issues that may arise. I just handed Gunnar to Austin and I started crying. All those what-ifs come to your mind right away. Gunnar threw up multiple times, and still hadn't thrown up the ham and was gagging and was not breathing for 20 seconds. After that, he was able to take some shallow breaths but was still struggling and was lethargic. We decided to get in the car and head to the hospital. Crying out to God. On their way to the ER, Joy and Austin were contemplating letting Gunnar sleep thinking it would reset his body. Joanna kept a close eye on his 1-year-old and timed his breaths. There were a couple points on the drive that he stopped breathing and I was just crying out to God like, please save him, and I've never been to a point where I thought I was going to lose one of my kids. It was just like that thought of like he is going to die came to my mind and it was terrifying. In the video, Joanna had tears running down her face as she continued her scary story. Once Gunnar began breathing again, the terrified parents felt a bit of relief. At the hospital, nurses explained that his breathing was better and his levels looked good, but they still wanted to do an X-ray to be safe. Thankfully, Joanna explained that while doing the X-rays, Gunnar began acting like himself by smiling and laughing. I was just so thankful that God protected him and we made it to the hospital and that whatever was in his throat wasn't bothering him anymore. When the doctor came back with the X-ray results, they revealed that everything looked clear but to keep a close eye on him over the next few days. Joanna confirmed that Gunnar is doing okay and is back to his normal self. It was so crazy and a roller coaster of emotions that day. After something like that, I feel like you just really need to hug your babies a little bit tighter. Joanna Duggar hurried through the emergency room doors, clutching her son Gunnar tightly against her chest. Tears streamed down her face, a mix of fear and desperation etched across her features. The usually bustling hospital corridors seemed eerily quiet to her, drowned out by the sound of her own racing heartbeat and Gunnar's soft, labored breathing. It had started innocently enough earlier that day. Gunnar, her energetic and adventurous 1-year-old, had been playing in the backyard with his older siblings. Joanna watched from the kitchen window, smiling at his infectious laughter as he chased after their dog. But then, a sudden crash and a piercing cry had shattered the peaceful afternoon. She rushed outside to find Gunnar lying on the ground, his tiny body twisted in pain. Panic gripped her heart as she scooped him up, frantically checking for any visible injuries. His cries intensified, and she felt a rush of dread settle in the pit of her stomach. Minutes that felt like hours passed as she called her husband, Austin, who raced home from work. Together, they tried to comfort Gunnar, but his cries persisted, and Joanna knew something was seriously wrong. With trembling hands, she bundled him into the car, praying fervently as she sped towards the nearest hospital. Now, standing in the Stark hospital room, Joanna watched as nurses and doctors surrounded Gunnar, their faces a blur of focused determination. She felt utterly helpless, her mind replaying every moment of the day, searching for clues to what could have caused this sudden turn of events. Austin arrived just as the doctor emerged from Gunnar's room, his expression grave yet composed. Joanna's heart skipped a beat as she held her breath, waiting for the verdict. The doctor's words echoed in her ears, a jumble of medical terms and assurances that they were doing everything they could. Gunnar's condition stabilized, but Joanna couldn't shake the image of her son's pain-stricken face. She blamed herself, wondering if she could have prevented this somehow, if only she had acted sooner or been more vigilant. Guilt gnawed at her, threatening to consume her fragile composure. Hours stretched into eternity as they waited for further updates. The hospital became their temporary refuge, a surreal bubble where time seemed to stand still. Joanna clung to Austin for support, drawing strength from his steady presence amidst the chaos. Finally, the moment came when they were allowed to see Gunnar again. Relief flooded Joanna's heart as she rushed to his bedside, tears streaming down her cheeks once more. Gunnar looked up at her with weary eyes, his small hand reaching out to grasp hers weakly. "I thought you were going to die," Joanna whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. She pressed a gentle kiss to his forehead, overwhelmed with gratitude that he was still with them. Austin stood beside her, his own eyes glistening with unshed tears. He wrapped his arms around Joanna and Gunnar, a silent gesture of love and reassurance. In that moment, they were a family bound together by fear and resilience, facing an uncertain future with renewed hope. As days turned into weeks, Gunnar slowly recovered under the watchful eyes of his parents. Joanna never took a single moment for granted, cherishing every laugh, every hug, and every milestone. The experience had changed her, deepening her appreciation for the precious gift of motherhood and the strength of their family bond. They returned home eventually, the hospital visits becoming a distant memory but leaving an indelible mark on their hearts. Joanna found solace in sharing their story, raising awareness about childhood accidents and the importance of swift medical attention. Through it all, Gunnar remained their brave little warrior, a testament to the power of love and resilience. Joanna knew that their journey was far from over, but she faced the future with courage, knowing that they had weathered their darkest storm together as a family.